today is the 11th anniversary of the famed decision of LeBron James getting some considerable real estate on ESPN to announce to the world where he was going to play basketball, and the entire city of Cleveland on pins and needles. And there's a video that I saw on Twitter today of Dwayne Wade being in a group of friends, and David Fizdale was sitting to his left. You know, and I'm assuming he was on the Heat staff at the time, and he was watching on TV like everybody else when LeBron made that decision. And I give you the floor on that subject matter.
Well, you know, the funny thing about that decision, I just had something pop up on my Facebook 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I posted this. A lot of people went anti-LeBron when that happened. Of course. It was, to me, I looked at it like, I looked at the positive about all the money he raised for the Boys and Girls Club. And yeah, it was 60 minutes, and it was long. And it could have been condensed to 5 minutes. But people really took umbrage to LeBron, and it made him probably the number one heel in all of sports at that moment. People really didn't like the fact that he either A, left Cleveland for, you know, taking his talents to Miami, and B, that they did the whole pomp and circumstance. So with yesterday also being the 25th anniversary of, in my opinion, and many people's opinions, the greatest heel turn in the history of wrestling and maybe all sports, when Hulk Hogan walked to the ring at Bash at the Beach, joined Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and formed the NWO. So it had Brockman and I thinking, like, what were some of the all-time great heel turns in sports? And then it just so happened that today was the decision.
Yeah, we did not plan that.
We didn't plan that, so we had to plug that in right away as being one of the greatest heel turns, along with Hulk Hogan's. And Chris, you had one right off the bat.
Yeah, right. So right off the bat, it just added to about LeBron. Like, they burned his jersey in Cleveland. That was the one of the first instances I really remember of fans just going nuts and burning jerseys. But, you know, he played for the Cavs, whatever. He went to Miami. And then I think what really turned people off was the not one, not two. They thought they were going to win 7 titles, whatever they want to. But for me personally, when you think about the 2004 Boston Red Sox and the face kind of that team, there was Manny and there was David Ortiz and there was Pedro. But Johnny Damon, kind of like him and Kevin Millar, personified the idiots, what they call themselves. The cowboy up, the long hair, the beards, the naked pull-ups and shots of Jack Daniels. But then, Rich, you know what happened after that season?
You went to the Yankees.
Damon went to the Yankees.
I remember.
Cut his hair.
I think it was
shaved his beard.
I saw the red. There was like a shirt that Red Sox fans wore that said, "Hits like Mary, looks like Jesus, acts like Judas."
Yeah,
I saw that. Oh, yeah. I saw that shirt.
That was one of those like T-shirt vendor outside. I saw Fenway. That. Oh yeah. Because that was when the whole Yankee suck thing was a huge deal, and the T-shirts and
So Johnny
Damon, like being the face of our curse-ending championship after all these years.
I'll tell you, Yankee fans were terribly happy about that too. But you know, I mean, we already sucked it up with Wade Boggs, and that was terrific with him on a horseback. And he wasn't all lights out either.
No, he was not. I mean, kind of like Jacoby Ellsbury, he was not good for you guys. But just for me personally, I'll never like Johnny Damon ever again. Well, just as a fan.
Johnny Damon was nice enough to help get Zan onto the stage at Dancing with the Stars.
And he came in here once, and I kind of held it all back. But why? Why did you go to them? Because they paid you $10 extra million? Like, come on, bro.
So what else? What else you got?
Well, we got another one. A big one in the NFL was when Art Modell packed the trucks up and left Cleveland and headed
That's twice on Cleveland. That's too Cleveland.
That's too Cleveland. Sorry, Cleveland.
They were burning sports coats there.
And the entire city was not happy. Probably to this day, not happy with Art Modell.
He's a 4-letter word.
Well, I think they're happy the Browns are back.
Yeah, but
I know, but especially that Browns team that left, they almost immediately won.
Belichick was the coach.
And then they won a Super Bowl not that long after in Baltimore.
Well, it certainly helped that they got their draft choices, and the first two were Ogden and Ray Lewis. I mean,
so as a Browns fan, you had to have looked at the Ravens' success And you're already upset that your team left.
Yeah.
But then you've got these generationally tremendous players in Ogden, Ray Lewis. They're winning they've won 2 Super Bowls. And
I just don't know. I mean, in this day and age now, I mean, certainly with everybody jumping on the Browns and for good reason right now, I think, there will be some people that'll be like, you took our team away. There's a whole generation of fans now who don't remember all that in the same way that Kyler Murray doesn't remember ever knowing that the Cowboys were good.
Yeah.
It's the same exact time. The Browns moved when the Cowboys last won a Super Bowl. So.
But there's a generation of fans who do remember this. And
that's true.
Another big one in the NBA, also more recently, was remember when Kevin Durant jumped and joined the Warriors after they'd won 73 games? That was kind of a huge one.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of turned how people viewed him in a lot of people's minds.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, because they had just beat OKC after OKC had a 3-1 lead, and then he went and joined, and it was like, come on, bro.
But also not a bad move. I mean, kind of worked out.
Yeah, made a ton of money, won 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely worked out for Kevin Durant.
As a basketball fan, it was fun to watch that much talent together. Yeah, but as someone whose teams, I have 2 teams, whatever, had to watch these teams dominate, that wasn't that much
also
fun.
Just knowing that you had no chance. When they were healthy, your team had no chance.
Yeah.
What else you got? You got any more?
That was kind of the ones off the top of our head.
Great
we were trying to think of some more NFL
I will
ones,
say
too.
this, and then we'll head to break here. I think if LeBron, now obviously they might not have raised as much money for their charitable ventures that night, but if they had Jim Gray basically say to him, your decision is what? Well, we'll say that right after the break. And if they did it within 10 minutes, 15 minutes of it starting,
may have been looked at.
That would have been different. And then spend the next 15 minutes interviewing him why he made this decision, and getting into it there and ending it at a half an hour. I think it would have been a totally different thing. The fact that they're like made a big thing out of it, like, come on, like what's going on? And we had no idea it would be a 50-minute long wait, and it's just like, okay, so now you're wasting my time. You're making it bigger than it needs to be. You're making it about yourself, even though it was done that way to keep us there, to put the spotlight on all the kids that were there. I think if it was done differently, there might have been less of a backlash
Probably.
around the country.
Perhaps.
Not in Cleveland
would have still
obviously
been.
a different story. And then he goes home and he wins one for the land anyway. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.